What if I told you that there was a simple and effective way of supercharging your strength gains? Published literature showing that the intervention caused a 12 times increase in the rate of strength progression among trained individuals. Look, from the outset, I don't want this to sound too clickbaity. I want it to provoke a conversation in your mind about what really matters for your training and what really counts when it comes to making gains. It may come as no surprise to the more cynical of you that such an implementation which provoked such a strong response involved anabolic steroids. I don't, however, mean that change actually involved taking them. The study was designed to measure the effect that a person's beliefs and expectations would have on their progress. Participants were told for the first 7 weeks that they were to adhere to a particular strength program, and that midway through the study, those that were the winners by increasing their strength the most would then be given anabolic oral steroids. The researchers, however, were lying. They didn't select those that got the strongest. They chose half of the group completely at random. And the pills that they were getting were not D-bol, but just sugar pills. Now, this had a drastic effect between before when they were taking the placebo as to after. In the 7 weeks beforehand, participants added an average of 2.5 kilos on their squat. Afterwards, those taking the placebo added 18 kilos. Now, the effect of placebo on training is well measured and very well established. And it also works in the reverse as well. In a study done on cyclists who were doing time trials, they were told that they were either not getting any caffeine, getting a moderate dose of caffeine, or getting a high dose of caffeine. Now, the performance was based entirely on what they thought that they were getting. Those with the highest placebo were increased the most in their power output and were able to decrease their time the most. Those in the moderate had a moderate effect. And interestingly, those that were told they weren't getting anything actually decreased their performance from the previous time trial when they were just told to go about the time trial. I raise these issues to give coaches and athletes an opportunity to reevaluate what actually are the main drivers of an athlete's success. While on one level, a training program is designed to produce a measurable physical response, getting bigger, stronger, faster. And a coach and their athlete can work together to find the variables that will achieve those goals the best. Whether it's the volume that they're given, the intensity, the exercise selection, the cues which they're told to focus on before they lift. However, the point that I'm trying to make is that it can be very difficult to measure what is purely a biological response to those variables compared to the things that are a little bit more difficult to evaluate. How well did the coach sell the athlete the benefits of making those changes? How well did the athletes perceived expectations about how those changes would affect their training? And whether or not the athlete had confidence that the coach had a long-term logical plan to get them from where they are to where they wanted to be. These things are a lot more difficult to measure and almost impossible to pull apart from the physical changes in a person's program that are being made. Was it really the new bench cue that an athlete was given that caused them to break through their bench plateau? Or was it the social proof of seeing other members of the gym implement that cue and get good results out of it? Was it the particulars of the volume and intensity of a person's deadlift program that are causing them to stall in progress? Or is it that they've just been stuck in a rut for a couple of weeks and their coach has failed to notice the negative expectations that they are taking in to the deadlift session that they're about to go through? If coaching humans was as simple as plugging numbers into a spreadsheet, most of us simply wouldn't have a job. It would all be done by a computer program by now. But if telling somebody that they're under the influence of steroids can give such a massive response whilst nothing physical has changed, and I accept that that is quite an extreme example, it's pretty clear to me that the confidence, the belief, and the judgment that a coach imparts onto their athletes on a daily basis, in the way in which they phrase their sentences, in the body language that they display whilst communicating to their athletes, down to simple things as how enthusiastic they are about selling the program to the athlete, will clearly have a measurable effect on how that person perceives that their training will affect their progress, and thus will have a flow-on effect to the gains and the progress that they make.